This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the game of the week in the 1978-81 Fall League. We got a series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees in an era where the Blue Jays were being born into existence and the Yankees were winning multiple world championships. And you'd think this would be a one-sided affair, and well, it is a one-sided affair. It hasn't always been that way, folks. In the last few years, the Yankees have been kind of, ordinary. And Toronto's been plucky. No more. The Yankees are in the steamroller mode. This series opens up in Toronto. Game one, Ed Figueroa for the Yankees, Dave Stieb for the Blue Jays. This thing's over in the middle innings. And oh boy, the Yankees have got their big bats out. Reggie, 2-run homer. Then you have Jim Spencer, write that down, 3-run homer. You got a Harry Spillman homer. You got Reggie with another 2-run homer. And of course, to add insult to more injury, Jim Spencer, another homer. Yep, 10-0 blanking of the Blue Jays and the young Dave Stieb, who once held promise, but growing pains. Growing pains for Stieb and Toronto. So what happens in game number two? Can they right the ship? Well, what do you expect, folks? You got Ron Guidry, 25-game winner of 1978 versus Doyle Alexander. This one is only modestly closer. They unload again in the middle innings. You get a Jim Spencer, 3-run homer. He's on fire. He's been critical of not getting enough homers with this ridiculous 79 card. And then all of a sudden, a solo shot in the fifth. That's 4 home runs in his last 8 at-bats. He's on fire, folks, on fire. 11 runs for the Yankees. Guidry gets pulled after 6 because they want to get those bullpens some work. It's an 11-3 win. So what does this mean now that the Yankees go to Canada and bludgeon the Blue Jays 21-3 in 2 games? Let's take a look at the standings here. This is not a very competitive series, but it's a very important one. It's very important. Here's your standings in the American League East. The Yankees have all but locked this up. They need one more win in this series to clinch at least a tie for the division. If not, if they win today, it is a clinch, because the Orioles, the only other team that can make a run. They play Boston. They would have to sweep the Red Sox, and if they swept the Red Sox, they'd still just be 6 over 500, where the Yankees presently are. So if the Yankees win today, it's over in the East. If the Blue Jays win a game or 2, then the Orioles have an outside chance. Let's get started. Game 3, Yankee Stadium for the Blue Jays. A nice acquisition. Ross Grimsley pitched in the decade for Baltimore, the Expos, the Reds, and he was taken in a smart move by the Blue Jays, early on at least. He'll eventually run out of gas by the 80s, but nice little pickup. And speaking of stealing guys players, the Yankees are going to have Larry Sorensen. He was a Milwaukee Brewer in 78 with an 18-12 record and 3.20 ERA. But those darn Yankees, they found a number 4 starter who's an 18-game winner to add to that World Series ball club. All right, let's get started from Yankee Stadium. Leading off for Toronto, Brian Hasselstein. 2-7 is a grounder to second. Larry Cox, 59, skies to right. And Tom Poquette, 54, lines to short. Bottom of 1, it's Bill North, 46, a K. Willie Wilson, 1-2. Uh-oh, an injury. Ground ball to short, B++ injury. Well, not that. It is a bad gig. Wilson at 326. So North, who's actually a natural center fielder, will play center field now. Piniella goes in a right, and on the bench they have Roy White. And Roy White will go into left field, replacing Willie Wilson. So it's really not much of a drop-off. Lou Piniella, 43, first X. This is former Yankee and Red Sox George Scott. It's a 2E21, and he kicks that ball. And it brings up Reggie. 2-5. Let's take a look at the Reggie Jackson card. We're using 1980 Jackson. His 41 homers, the only time in his career he hit 300. And we're using him as a DH, which is where the Yankees really should have. So we have some good outfield defense for once. And 2-5, one of his 41 bombs. And the Yankees continue their assault on the American League East, and particularly their weak little sister in Canada. 2-0. Greg Nettles, 34, pops the first. Top of 2. Otto Velez, 1-7. Let's take a look at this guy's card. He is sort of the shining light here on a Toronto team. A 1979 Otto Velez, 288, 15 homers in half a season. Don't know why he didn't play more. Maybe he was a call-up or something. But my goodness, he crushes righties at least. And he crushed this ball. 1-7 homer, 1-3 double. It's a 2-base hit in cavernous left field in Yankee Stadium. Now to be longtime Blue Jay third baseman Roy Howell. 1-9 is a base hit in the center. Velez will hold a third. The Blue Jays have something going. They have never led in the series or been within 6 runs, I guess. Well, of course, when the game starts, I guess it's 0-0, which you get the idea. Runners on the corners for future Yankee or not, Rick Cerrone. 69, second X. This is Kelleher playing second today for the Yanks. He's a 2E24 at second. And that'll be a double play. A run will score. No RBI given. 2-1. Mike Phillips. 57. Bouncer to second base again. And same thing. Innings over. 2-1. Bottom of the second. It'll be Munson. 67. Bouncer to second X. Mike Phillips is the Blue Jays second baseman today. That's going to be a single. Jim Spencer, red hot. Was going to give him the day off against the lefty, but he's so red hot, you just don't want to take him out of the lineup. 68. He's been rolling 8s like crazy, which is homers on his card. 68 off the Grimsley card is single 1-10, and he lines out. Frank Tavares, off-season acquisition. 410. This is homer 1-15. If you have power, he doesn't, so it's single ... Runners on the corners, they got to bring it up for A. Bunting, Mick Kelleher. 1-6 is short A, so the runners move up. The out is recorded at first. Second and third, 2 outs for Bill North. 47 off Grimsley is a bouncer to short. This is Alfredo Griffin. He is a 2E38 at shortstop, and he makes the play. Top of the third, George Scott. 2-9, third. Alfredo Griffin, 6'10", third X. This is Nettles, a 1 at third base. And with 2 outs, Brian Esselstein. 38 is a K. Bottom of the third, and it's Roy White, now in the 2 spot, of course. 67 is a second X. The 4E26. Let me check the defense here. Mike Phillips is a 4E26 at second base. That's a base hit. White's a beast stealer, but Cerrone is a -4 arm catcher that the Yankees could not get. That's okay. We've pushed Munson. This is the fun part about Strat. So Munson's really playing with some 1980 and 1981 players, of course, past his tragedy. That's kind of the interesting part of the carryover league, is that you can have a guy, Munson can play all the way through the 82 season because you get the extra 4 years out of the player's card. Same with Clemente. Roberto Clemente can play all the way through to 1975. I mentioned this earlier in one of the videos. Could you imagine if Roberto Clemente and the Pirates in 1975, the 72 to 75 season, somehow prevented the Cincinnati Reds from getting to the World Series? That's actually a possibility in the Carrier League rules. So, little something to think about as we get through an otherwise not that particularly compelling game. Roy White at first. being held on, and the batter is Lupinella. 3-6, single 1-2, lines out. Here's Reggie. 6-10 off Grimsley is a walk. Don't want to do that one. 2 on, 1 out. Greg Nettles. 1-4, fly to right, and with 2 outs, it's Munson. 2-5, pops to third. Not bad. 2-1 game in the fourth. You guys get a interesting game. I had 2 blowouts. Larry Cox, 1-5. Let's take a look at this guy. Larry Cox was a Cub in '78. Hit .281. Has to be his career high, I'm guessing. And Toronto said, give me that guy. Just in case. And they have an embarrassment of riches. They've got Rick Cerone and Larry Cox. So Cox has to DH. 1-5 on his card. Homer 1-12 double. We got a tie game in Yankee Stadium. Tom Poquette. 6-3, short X. Tavares, a 3-40, makes the play. Poquette would lead these Blue Jays in hitting with a .311 batting average for the '79 Red Sox. And Toronto, they've made some interesting pickups. It just hasn't translated into very many wins. Otto Velez, 46, pops to first. And Roy Hal, 33, pops to first. 2-2, bottom of the fourth. It's Spencer. 58. This is like the 10th 8 in a row this guy's rolled, but 58 is a pop to short. Frank Tavares, 56, is a sky to center, and with 2 outs, it's Kelleher. 2-3, bouncer to shortstop. Well, the Blue Jays playing tough today. We go to the 5th. It's Rick Cerone. Let's take a look at this Rick Cerone card. So, before he swings, this is a 1980 Yankee card. And you know that the Blue Jays are holding on to this card for dear life. They're saying, no, you can't, we got to hold on to this dude. And frankly, here's a guy with a -4 arm, helps the Yankees win 103 games, the heir apparent to Mr. Munson. But really after this, he was not able to continue the strong everyday play, either defensively or at the plate. So, unfortunately, Cerone comes on later in the 1980s and has a nice bat in a platoon, but the high expectations after 1980 never really did materialize after that. So here's the pitch to Rick Cerone. 39, flies to the left. Phillips. 2-9, triple 1-3, base hit. George Scott. 36 is a K, with 2 outs. Alfredo Griffin. 5-10, catcher's card off the Sorensen. This is Munson, and he makes the play. Nice game. 2-2. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Bottom of the 5th. Yankees at home. Kind of quiet today. Fireworks are not available to this point. Bill North. 56, flies to center. Roy White. 3-11, pops to first. And Lou Piniella. 2-3, pops to short. These guys are just throwing darts up there. Asselstein in the 6th, 57, second X. The 2 second baseman Kelleher makes the play. Larry Cox, 66. Finally, a column. They hit the Sorensen column to double one, single the rest. Base hit. 1 on for Poquette. 56 is short X. Now Tavares is a 3-40. It's probably a good chance to get on. He'll get a fielder's choice. Poquette's on at first with 2 outs, and Otto Velez saw his card earlier. 62 rolls to first. Sorensen's doing the job in the 4th spot of the Yankee rotation. Games 4 and 5 if necessary. It would be Tommy John and then Ron Guidry on short rest. So I think the Yankees probably should win this series regardless, but they'd like a sweep. Bottom of the 6th. It's Reggie, homered in the 1st. All the offense to this point. 2 unearned runs. 69, single off of Grimsley. Greg Nettles, 67, is second X. Now this is the bad defense of Phillips, and that's an error. Damaso Garcia is on the bench, not being used today, against the tough righty Sorensen. They might live to regret that. 2-2. It'll be, with 2 on, it'll be Thurman Munson. 2-6, pops to short. Jim Spencer, do we get an 8 again? We do! Folks! How do you explain it, folks? You get an 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Let's take a look at the card finally, folks. There you go. You roll 8. You're going to be very successful, at least in a 3-game series if your name's Jim Spencer. Uncharacteristically low, he rolled on the pitcher's card the first 2 times up. 1-8. This is Homer against a lefty. Homer 1-10 double. So it is a 14 roll up here. That's just going to be a double, but still, it will score at least 1 run. And Nettles, he's going to hold up at third base, and the Yanks take the lead. 3-2. I've never been able to predict this many 8s before, so hopefully Spencer will get up one more time in this game for fun. See if he can do it again. Second and third with the infield up and the A-bunting Frank Tavares. Grimsley's a starter 8, so he's got a nice leash here. And the pitch to Tavares. 34, third B. Cuts down Nettles at the plate. So there'll be an out at the plate. Spencer goes to third. The speedy Tavares is at first, but there's 2 outs in a 3-2 game, and it's Mick Kelleher. 69 off of Grimsley is a single to center field. That scores Spencer, and Tavares will not make the final out at third. So you have 2 on and 2 outs for Bill North. 45 is a walk, and Grimsley is really having a struggle here. It's the bases loaded, 2 outs, everything unearned at this point. Most of it, yeah. In a 4-2 game, Roy White, you got to let Grimsley pitch. He's much better than the bullpen. Of course, if they bat around, we'll consider him point of weakness and just yank him at that point. But he's got White and Piniella. But here's the Blue Jays season. You have to get Roy White out with the bases loaded and 2 outs. The pitch to Roy White. 2-8 is a grounder to third. So, could have been worse. The Yankees do leave the bases loaded. It is a 4-2 game. And now if you're the Yankees, you're saying, let's get 9 outs and have a nice long vacation until we have to play in the playoffs. So you got Righetti, Tidrow, Ford and Leach in the bullpen, and Sorensen dealing here in the top of the 7th. Leading off in the top is Roy Howe. 53, flies to right X. The right fielder today is Bill North. He's a 2E6 in right field, and he makes the catch. Actually, the right fielder is Piniella, but he makes the catch on his 3-ness. So yeah, North moved into center because of the injury. Roy White was in left as a 3. Piniella is in right as a 3. So it's still an out. Rick Cerrone, 37 is a walk. Your tie run is Mike Phillips, who made that big error in the 6th inning. 66 off of Sorensen is a base hit in a center field. You have 2 on for George Scott. The pitch to George Scott, 39, is a 6-4-3 double play. Stretch time here in Yankee Stadium. We have been listening to Parallel Lines, 1978 Blondie at Studio 44. All the hits. Here's one. All your favorite songs, folks, by Blondie. Being the soundtrack for the Yankees in New York in 1978 during the garbage strike. Here we go, folks. Bottom of the 7th inning of a 4-2 game. Grimsley. I still think he gives him he's a 20-game winner. So I'm going to let him continue after getting out of that mess. It'll be Lou Piniella. 2-9, grounds a short. Reggie Jackson, 37 is a walk. Greg Nettles, 67 is second X. Here's Phillips. Oh boy, but another error for Phillips. And this is regrettable. 2 on, 1 out for Thurman Munson. 3-6 is a 6-4-3 double play. Grimsley gets out of it. We go to the 8th. It's a 2-run game. You got Sorensen out there. He's better against righties, but you got 2 lefties, a righty, a lefty. Do we call on the talents of Dave Righetti for a 2-inning save to close out the Yankee regular season? I think you do. Simple as that. So Sorensen's going to leave, and they're going to bring in Dave Rags Righetti, his 1981 card. Let's take a look at it. Magnificent year in 81. 8-4, 2.06 ERA in 105 innings, only 1 home run allowed. Now, you see he's a starter 7, but I let my starters pitch in relief. I don't necessarily, of course, let my relievers become starters. So, Brigetti is going to assume the closer role. Another reason why is you already have lefty starters Ron Guidry and Tommy John. So there's really no room for Brigetti to be in the rotation anyway, under my format of just 3 lefties on an entire team. So Brigetti in the 8th. He will face Alfredo Griffin to lead off. Here we go. 58 is a K. Asselstein can't hit lefties. He will leave. Batting for Brian Asselstein will be Damaso Garcia. Pitch to Damaso. 2-8 is a ground to the 3rd. Will take over second base duties. And with 2 outs, it's Larry Cox. 1-3 is a ground to the 3rd. Well, bottom of the 8th. Well, let's switch things up a little bit here. Turn this down a little bit for you now. Blondie, yeah. Okay, bottom of the 8th, we're going to pull Mr. Grimsley. We'll go with Jerry Garvin. He is their best reliever. Get to see what he looks like. Garvin was 4-7 with a 228 and 83 innings in 1980. Did I give you Grimsley's actual stats? Grimsley was 20-11. 3.05 ERA and 263 innings for the Expos. And probably his final appearance. That 78 card will be over at the end of the year. So, we do have Garvin, the lefty, in to continue for a lefty. And it's our boy, Jim Spencer, at the plate. We call the 8s over here every time. Let's see if he can do it one more time. The pitch to Jim Spencer. Oh, he rolls a 12. 6-12 off Garvin as a roller to the mound. Frank Tavares. 5-12's a K. Kelleher, 67, is a strikeout. We will go to the 9th inning. They're going to put Billy Smith at second base and put Kelleher at short, where he's better defensively. And Brigetti needs to record 3 outs for a 3-game sweep and the Yankees clinching the American League East. That's what's all on the line, folks. It's Poquette, who gets lefties okay, Otto Velez, Roy Hale, and Rick Cerrone trying to, and the Orioles and Red Sox are watching closely, trying to get some hope here. But it's Tom Poquette leading off in the 9th. 4-10 off of Brigetti is short X. Now, this is Kelleher. He's a 2-18 at short, and he makes the play. Otto Velez is your batter. 59, rolls to second. And with 2 outs, it's Roy Hale. 47's a strikeout. 6 up and down for Rags Brigetti. It's pretty easy, folks. Blue Jays put up a little bit of a fight. It's a competitive 4-2 game, but the New York Yankees sweep the Blue Jays. No shocker there, really. And they clinch the American League East in an era where they, well, should, really. 78 World Series winners, 81 World Series runners-up, and they led all of baseball in 103 wins in 1980 and didn't go to the World Series. Nice little 2-inning save for Brigetti, 2 strikeouts. Sorensen, nice performance out of the 4th spot, 6 hits, 2 runs. They were earned. A walk, a couple strikeouts. Garvin got a couple strikeouts in his inning of work. Tough loss for Grimsley. His defense let him down in the 6th inning there. 7 hits, 4 runs. Let him down in the 1st as well, so those were unearned. That's unearned. My goodness, folks. Let's call them nothing's earned. 3 walks and a strikeout. 1019, 0108, 4726, 14333314. In a Game 3 sweep, we'll look at the year-to-date numbers for these 2 squads. The Blue Jays are probably going to get the first pick in the draft, and they could certainly use it. They've just... Every once in a while, you play down to your level, and the Blue Jays have been playing over their heads in the last several years, but finally, the stats don't lie. They just don't have the horses to compete with the brilliant Red Sox, Orioles, and Yankees in this timeline. So let's take a look at the overall standings with the Yankees. Your New York Yankees are 19-12, winners of the American League East, hitting just .251 with a 3.05 ERA. Bullpen's looking great. Guidry is an okay 6-3. You think he'd be better. Ed Figueroa is 2-4, the only blemish in the pitching. But Mr. Reggie Jackson, folks, we've played 31 games of baseball, have the Yankees, and Reggie has 18 home runs and 39 RBIs. He's 38 for 119. Boy, the MVP race in the American League is going to be really hotly contested between George Brett and Reggie Jackson. They're both just ripping the cover off the ball. 319 for Reggie. Mr. Spencer, if you're wondering, guess what, folks? He has only 6 home runs. He's 29 for 107. So he brought everything up in this Toronto series. He finished his regular season hitting a very respectable 271 with 6 homers. But he was under 250 with just 1 or 2 homers prior to that. So, the Toronto Blue Jays, on the other hand, are 7-19 with the worst record in baseball. They hit 255. Imagine that. They actually hit percentage points better than the Yankees. But an unsightly 5.49 team ERA, which is a shame because they actually do have good starting pitching. It just got lit up. Steve's ERA is over 5, as is Grimsley and Alexander. And Jim Clancy's is ERA of 9, a run per inning. And the bullpen's no shakes either. It's just they just got lit up by Baltimore, Boston, and New York. Those offenses are incredible. Otto Velez had 7 homer and 15 RBIs. 34 for 98. Otto Velez hitting 340 something. So, year to date now, 434 and 434. That's the one-loss record of the league. The league's hitting 275 with a 430 ERA. It's been anywhere between 428 and 432 throughout. And when we look at the overall standings here now, here are your Yankees at 19-12. Kansas City has finished their season already. They're 20-10. They're 10 over, so they have number 1. Cleveland still has to play at 10 over. They play the Expos, who are also competing for a wild card spot. So Cleveland has to beat the Expos to get that bye and push the Yankees into the wild card round. And if the Expos, who are very talented, can beat the Indians in the series, and the Yankees get that bye, the team out west is not very good. And Mariners and Angels still have to play. This will most likely be your 4 seed. All right, thanks for tuning in, folks. Congratulations, New York Yankees, sweeping Toronto, taking care of business. We'll see you next time.